I'm Gary Numan and we're at Blue Dot Festival in Jodrell Bank. Yes, yeah, I do. Only because of the law of probability. It seems ridiculous to me that that you can have billions of stars in this galaxy and in billions of galaxies, and there not be something more than us. I think it's just the arrogance of man, really, that would deny such a thing is not only likely but certain, surely. I wouldn't say anything to him. I'll keep it quiet as. I remember reading the thing that Stephen Hawking wrote once about that, and it was talking about how far man has advanced in the tiny amount of time that we've been in the universe, which is tiny compared to how long it's been around, and the chances of another alien. I love alienation. Alienation. Being even if they were 100 years apart, which is absolutely, it could be 1,000,000 years apart and it would still be close to nothing in terms of how long that's actually been. But if it was, that the chances of their technology or even their understanding being remotely suitable for us to actually communicate with, it's near on impossible. So if you think about not that much more than 100 years ago, we were barely flying, and now look, going to Mars and doing all these things, and then think of that in another 100 years. Think of 1,000 years. You'll be lucky to find another alien civilization that was even remotely as close as that. So they're just going to be either way behind us or so far ahead of us that I'd rather not meet them. To create a perfect planet, yeah, get rid of us. That's easy. It would do great without us. My wife says the best thing you can do for Earth is kill everybody, which seems a bit harsh when you've got kids, But that's what she says, and to be honest, she's right. Again, I saw something recently that talked about what the Earth is doing at the moment, or beginning to do at the moment, is its own way of getting rid of the problem, which is us. It will become unlivable for us, but it will survive. It would just adjust, but it would get rid of us, and so it's fixed itself. And it might even just then drift back to where it wants to be. But I find that interesting, that the Earth as a living thing is treating us as a virus, and it's beginning to do what it needs to do to get rid of us. And thoroughly deserved, to be honest. We're just absolutely ruining things. I stumbled into electronic music absolutely by chance. I didn't like it much, really. The only things I'd heard Kraftwerk, and I thought that was all right. Not enough to actually go out and buy an album, but I thought that was all right. No, I did buy an album, actually. I bought one album. I quite liked that, but it didn't make me want to do it. I just bought the record, and that was okay. Bowie did that Low album, the B-side of Low, I think. I can't remember, but it's quite almost classical electronic music. I liked that, but it didn't make me want to do it. So although I'd heard things that I'd liked, none of it had been inspiring enough to make me want to go out and find out about it myself. And so I was actually going into a studio to make my debut album in a band called Tube Army, which is a punk band. They were a 3-piece guitar, bass, drums punk band. And that's when I found a synthesizer. I'd gone in to say hello to the man that was running it, the studio, and while my mates were unloading the gear out of the car, there was a thing called a Mini Moog synthesizer in the control room, and they let me have a go of it. But I'd never seen one before, so I had no idea how you set them up or what it could do. But I started pressing things, and it was amazing. The room shook. It was this low, growly, roaring kind of. It was nothing like I'd ever heard before, and it was that swung me around. And so by the time my mates had set up the gear, I'd already changed everything. No, we're not doing any of that now. We're going to be doing this. And so I went back to the record company with this pseudo electro-punk record, which is not what they wanted at all. So we had a massive argument about that. And I was all full of synthesizers and everything, not realizing that I was probably one of the last people to find them. People like Orchestral Maneuvers and Human League, all those people, they've been doing it for ages. I just didn't know they didn't know of them. So I thought I discovered it, which is really ignorant. But I did, so I go back to Rock Company and say, no, there's this new thing, it's going to be great, it's really exciting, there's all these sounds that you can make that nothing else can make, and I was really enthused by it all. And eventually won the argument and put the album out. And then realised that all these other people have been doing it for ages. And Andy McCluskey from OMD sort of called me Johnny Come Lately, which is true. I was one of the last people to find it, but the first one to become sort of quite successful with it. So I always felt slightly guilty about that, to be honest. But so I've never seen myself as a flag-waving champion for it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm slightly embarrassed by that because of the reputation that I've got as being electronic. I use it the same way as a carpenter uses a saw. I don't care about it. It makes good noises. And if it makes good noises, then I keep on using it. But so do other things. Half the noises on my records don't come from a synthesizer. They come from walking around, kicking things and dragging things and recording everything that makes a noise. So it's all about sound. Synthesizers are just a relatively modest part of it, to be honest. I write everything on piano. All the electronic stuff comes later. My last album, which for a moment was #1 in the Billboard electronic chart, got excluded because they said it wasn't electronic enough. Figure that one. Well, I look back on it and we went through all the tracks to find out which one of them were organic, how many of them were organic, and how many of them were electronic or artificial in some way, be it processed voice or whatever. And it was something like 82% of it was non-organic. So yeah, highly qualified as being electronic, but they have their own methods, I'm sure. But the thing is, I'm not a champion of it. I do love it, but I don't study it. I don't know who's around. I don't really know much about it at all. But I recognise that I have a place in its history. But I've never felt a responsibility to want to further it or push it, whatever. I've been really selfish about it. I use it because it suits me and what I want to do and the music that I want to make. But outside of that, I couldn't care less, to be honest, what it does. Oh.
Is that too broad?
Yeah. I do the same things as everyone else. There's nothing special about me. I write songs. Everyone here writes songs. We all write songs in our own little way. We all attach the production and instrumentation to them in our own way. But we're all doing the same thing. There's nothing different about me to any of the others, really. You just hope that what you do will keep people happy for an hour and they won't throw glasses at you. That's pretty much what. If I can get away from this without having somebody throwing a bottle on my head, then I've had a good day, really. But I hate people. I don't hate people, that's too strong a word, but it always bothers me a little bit when people sort of justify how unique they are, and why they're different to someone else. No, we're not. We're all trying to do the same thing, and we all love doing what we're doing, and that should be enough. I've had a brilliant life doing this, but I'm not better than anyone else. I've been lucky at times, been unlucky in others. I'm just grateful that I'm still here, still doing it, and that's more than enough for me. I'm proud to be amongst the people that are here. I'm proud to still be invited to do things like this at this sort of level. And that's cool with me, man. That's great.